If you own real estate and want to sell it, you may want to list your property for sale with a real estate agent and their firm. If so, you will sign a written listing agreement authorizing the firm and its agents to represent you as your listing agent in your dealings with any buyers. The real estate firm must enter into a written listing agreement with you before it's allowed to begin marketing and showing your property to any prospective buyers, or even taking any other steps to help you sell your property. The listing agreement has to be in place. The listing firm may ask you to allow agents from other firms to show your property to their buyer clients. Now, what are the listing agent's duties to you as the seller? Well, first of all, the listing firm and its agent must promote your best interests. They must be loyal to you. They should follow your instructions and provide you with all material facts that could influence your decisions. They should use reasonable skill, care, and diligence. Once you have signed the listing agreement with the listing agent, the firm and its agents may not give any confidential information about you to any potential buyers or their agents during the entire agency relationship without your permission. But until you sign the actual listing agreement, you should avoid telling the listing agent anything you would not want a buyer to know. And what services might a listing agent provide during the listing agreement? Well, to help you sell your property, a listing firm and its agent will offer to perform a number of services for you. These may include helping you price your property correctly, advertising and marketing your property, giving you all required property disclosures for you to fill out, and negotiate for you the best possible price and terms. Also reviewing all written offers that come in with you and otherwise promoting your interests and making sure these offers are reviewed with you as soon as they come in. Now, for representing you and helping you sell your property, you as the seller will be paying the listing firm a sales commission or a fee. The listing agreement must state in writing the amount or the method for determining the sales commission or fee, and whether you will allow the firm to share its sales commission with agents representing the buyer. If you list your property with a real estate firm that also represents a buyer who wants to buy your property, what happens? You may allow the listing firm and its agents to represent you and a buyer at the same time. This would mean that the real estate firm and all of its agents would represent you and the buyer equally. This in North Carolina is called dual agency relationship. This dual agency will happen if an agent with your listing firm is working as a buyer's agent with someone who wants to purchase your property. Then both you as the seller and the buyer must consent in writing to such dual agency. And this is going to be included in your listing agreement. Now, can you sell your property without hiring a listing agent? Well, of course, it's done all the time. But in that case, you would be an unrepresented seller, often referred to as for sale by owner or FSBO. If you are selling your property without hiring an agent, then any agent involved in your transaction would be representing only the buyer. And at this point, we do not recommend sharing any confidential information with the buyer's agent. If the agent for the buyer asks you for compensation and you are willing to pay that agent, then you should enter into some kind of a written agreement that clearly expresses the terms and conditions of your obligation to pay that agent. Now, what happens if the listing agreement that you signed with your listing agent expires? If that happens, then when you enter into a contract to sell your property, your listing agent and firm may continue representing you through the date of the closing. and you are responsible for compensating the listing firm according to the terms of the listing agreement. If the listing agreement expires without your property going under contract, then the listing agent must immediately stop marketing your property unless you first enter into a new listing agreement. Now, can you hire a listing agent to represent you and then terminate the agency agreement that you signed before it expires? And the answer is maybe, because agency agreement is a contract between a buyer or seller and a real estate firm. Most agency agreements do not contain a requirement allowing a buyer or seller to terminate the agreement before it expires without mutual consent. And this simply means one party cannot terminate the agreement without the consent of the other party. Now, if you do come to an understanding and you and the firm both consent to terminate the agreement, then you both sign a written termination agreement. If the agent asks for any kind of compensation in exchange for you terminating that agreement, then you can agree or disagree, or simply negotiate the amount of that compensation. If an agency agreement contains a penalty for early termination, this is agreed at the listing appointment and written into the listing contract. If you are not able to reach an agreement on the termination of the agency agreement, then you may consult your own attorney or simply wait until the agency agreement expires. The North Carolina Real Estate Commission does not have the authority to terminate agency agreements or force a real estate agent to terminate the agreement. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And for now, thank you so much for watching and make sure you watch my next video.